Is it better to rent a home or to buy it? The conventional wisdom favors buying, but the percentage of people renting has been growing. It's a complicated decision, and there are several pros and cons to consider for each option. Hey there, welcome to the Daytime Dollar, where we talk about financial strategies and how small changes can make big improvements. If you are new here, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Today, we are talking about renting as buying in terms of the pros and cons of both. So let's get into it. Renting a home is owning a home. Buying a home is a huge part of the American dream. Choosing to buy or rent, though, is a major decision that affects your financial health, lifestyle, and personal goals. Whichever option you choose depends entirely on your lifestyle and financial situation. Both require a regular income so you can afford the payments and associated costs, and may also require a certain degree of effort to maintain. But several differences make renting and owning property distinctly different. Renting a property doesn't come with all the responsibilities associated with homeownership, and you have more flexibility as you aren't necessarily tied down to your property. Owning your home gives you a sizable investment, but it does come at a big cost, both upfront and over the long run. Owning a home isn't always better than renting, and renting is not always as simple as it seems. Here we highlight some of the key differences between renting and buying. Renting a home. The biggest myth about renting is that you're throwing away money every month. This is not true. After all, you need a place to live, and that always costs money in one way or another. While it's true that you aren't building equity with monthly rent payments, not all of the costs of homeownership always go toward building equity. When you rent, you know exactly what your housing costs each month. This amount is indicated on your lease so you can plan accordingly. In some cases, your landlord may also include other costs within that amount, such as utilities, storage, and homeowner association HOA fees if you live in a condominium. As a renter, you may face rent increases each time your lease is up for renewal. These rent increases can be even steeper if you live in certain parts of town. This may not be the case if you live in an area with rent ceilings and rent control, which limit how much a landlord can increase the rent, if at all. Renting means you're able to move whenever your lease ends. However, it also means you could have to move suddenly if your landlord decides to sell the property or turn your apartment complex into condos. Less dramatically, they could just bump up the rent to more than you can afford. Owning a home. Home ownership brings both tangible and intangible benefits. Not only do you have your own home, but you can make decisions about the look and design of the space, and you also get a sense of stability and pride of ownership. Keep in mind, though, that changing your mind about where you're living can be very expensive, since real estate is an illiquid asset. You may not be able to sell when you want, and even if you do, you may not get it at the price you want, especially if the housing market is down. Even if it's up, there are significant transaction costs associated with selling your property. The overall cost of homeownership tends to be higher than renting, even if your mortgage payment is lower than the rent. Renting. Pros. It's a good short-term solution. If you're not planning to stay long in your current location, renting is a safe interim choice with fewer costs and generally more flexibility. And because of the upfront costs, buying makes the most sense if you plan to stay in your home for at least 5 years, according to Freddie Mac. You may have to put down a refundable security deposit, but otherwise, your direct housing costs should only be rent and any expenses that aren't included in rent, such as utilities. Cons. No chance for equity appreciation. If the property where you live is worth more when you move out than when you moved in, a tenant doesn't benefit from that gain in value. What you see is what you get. Situations may vary, but landlords typically won't allow tenants to make major changes in their homes, so be sure your rental suits your needs as it is. Even if you paint a room a bright color or put up some wallpaper, you may have to repaint it in neutral white before you move out. Landlords may also be slow to upgrade kitchens, bathrooms, or fixtures that are still functional. Buying. Pros. A potential increase in the value of your home is a major benefit of home ownership. The equity you build in a home can provide a down payment for your next house, in addition to your retirement nest egg, or funding for a variety of other goals. There are important tax benefits to home ownership. The chance to deduct mortgage interest and property taxes on your tax return every year helps to lower your overall costs. Note, tax laws do change. A change after you buy could have a negative impact, and there's not a lot you can do about it. But there's also the chance that a change does not occur. This is a point where you need to weigh your options and goals and do what makes the most sense. Cons. It may be better to use the money you would use for a down payment and other costs to achieve other financial goals. That's particularly true if you have high student or credit card loans or any other near-term objectives that would require a big cash infusion. There's no guarantee a home's worth will increase, and values can also decline due to many factors. If you want to find out how the market has been doing before you buy, contact a local board of realtors or other sources for information on average rises or drops in value in the area over the last few years. So guys, that's all about today's topic. See you soon in the next video. Goodbye.